Controversial. If she reaches out, should you keep ignoring her? Old Stoic wisdom. The greatest thing you can do is not to give up, but to stand strong with your own convictions. When a woman you've been ignoring reaches out, it's a moment that can stir internal conflict. Do you respond and risk losing the balance you've established, or do you stay silent, keeping her uncertain and intrigued? Most men fail here because they don't understand what's truly at play in this situation. Reacting too quickly can make you appear weak, while ignoring her without purpose can make you seem careless. The key here is understanding why she's reaching out and how your response affects your position. Women, whether knowingly or not, test men consistently. When she contacts you, it's rarely simply because she misses you. There's usually a deeper desire for control and validation. By making the first move, she's assessing your emotional state. Does she sense desperation? Is she wondering if you're still emotionally attached, or has your life moved on and your value risen? These are the questions she's silently asking, and how you respond will shape how she views you moving forward. This moment is not just about her reaching out, it's about how you position yourself as a man. Will you demonstrate emotional restraint, or will you buckle under the pressure of her attention? Your actions in these moments reveal your confidence, self-respect, and personal boundaries. In today's dating world, a high-value mindset is a must. Women are drawn to men who hold their ground, who aren't swayed by fleeting attention. In this video, I'll break down exactly how to navigate when she reaches out. Each segment will help you understand her behavior, decide whether and how to respond, and ensure your actions elevate your value. If you want to master these types of situations, you need to know how to handle them with strategy and purpose. I've received a lot of requests for this, and it's finally here. I've created a community on Podium where I walk men through building successful, strong relationships with women. These courses lay it all out step by step, giving you the tools to attract, keep, and lead in your relationships confidently. No fluff, just real advice that works. 1. Analyze why she's reaching out. When she reaches out, don't rush to respond. First, you must understand why she's reaching out in the first place. Women, especially in the context of relationships, rarely act without purpose. Everything has an underlying reason. Her reaching out isn't random, it's calculated, and it's your job to figure out why. It could stem from curiosity, loneliness, insecurity, or perhaps even an attempt to regain control. The ability to dissect her motives will dictate how you should proceed. Pay attention to the timing. Has it been weeks since you last spoke, or did she reach out after seeing you post something on social media? Her timing holds the key to her intent. If it's been a while, she might be testing the waters to see if you're still interested, maybe wondering if she still has a place in your life. If her message comes after a post where you seem confident, successful, or surrounded by others, she may be feeling jealousy or fear of losing you. Her timing isn't just a coincidence, so you must notice it. The next layer of insight comes from her tone. Is she casual as if nothing ever happened? Does she sound apologetic, trying to fix things? Or is she playful, throwing out a bit of bait to see if you'll bite? Her tone reveals her expectations. A casual tone could mean she's trying to assert control, believing she can call the shots. Apologies show that she's aware of a wrong, perhaps trying to make amends. If she's playful, she's testing to see if you'll still give her the attention she craves. Now, think back on your previous interactions. Why did you stop responding to her in the first place? Was it because she disrespected you, or did you set boundaries? If she's reaching out after disrespecting you, she's likely testing how far she can push, attempting to regain some power. If it's after you set boundaries, she's recognizing your strength and might be testing if you'll maintain them. Your response, or lack of one, will set the tone for what comes next. Don't let emotions cloud your judgment. Women, knowingly or unknowingly, have mastered the art of using emotions to manipulate situations. That's not a critique, just a fact of how the dynamics often work. When she reaches out, she's checking if she still has control over you. Respond too quickly, too emotionally, or with too much eagerness, and you're handing her that control. But if you pause, assess, and take time to think, you show that her reaching out doesn't rattle your frame. The key is to remember your value. You don't owe her a response just because she decided to reach out. Take a moment to decide if her motives are aligned with what you want. Is she truly interested? Or is this simply a tactic to feed her ego? Stay composed and logical. Your ability to stay calm and think clearly will prevent your actions from being dictated by her whims. Recognizing why she's reaching out places you in control. Most men fail here because they react impulsively, unwittingly handing over control to her. By stepping back, analyzing her motives, and choosing how it fits with your frame, you're in charge. And once you've done that, you'll be able to act with precision and confidence, in line with Old Stoic wisdom. The Stoic principles of maintaining a clear, iron mind, unmoved by emotional manipulation, are what will guide your actions. That's the key. Stay grounded, stay strong. 2. Don't rush to respond. Don't rush to respond? The Stoic approach to handling her messages. Once you've analysed why she's reaching out, the next step is to pause. Resist the urge to respond immediately, no matter how tempting it feels. A quick reply signals desperation or emotional dependence, and both diminish your value in her eyes. Women are drawn to men who exude confidence and self-control, and nothing demonstrates those qualities better than restraint. This simple act speaks volumes about your self-control, your confidence, and your worth. It is a classic example of practical stoicism in action, knowing when to act and when to hold back. Why should you wait? The first thing you must understand is that your response time says everything about how much power you have in the situation. If you reply too quickly, you risk coming across as desperate or emotionally dependent. Don't give in to that impulse. Be the man who controls the conversation, not the one who is at its mercy. Women are naturally attracted to men who exude a sense of self-assurance and independence, and nothing communicates these traits more effectively than taking a moment to think before you act. You see, when she reaches out to you, it's an invitation, not a command. Don't mistake it for something that requires an immediate answer. Too many men get caught in the trap of thinking they must always respond right away, believing it's polite or the nice guy thing to do. This is where understanding Stoic rules can be a game changer. Be the man who knows his own value and isn't desperate for validation. Delaying your response conveys that your world doesn't revolve around her. The power of uncertainty. When you take your time, you introduce a subtle but potent form of uncertainty. She'll wonder why you haven't replied yet. Are you busy, uninterested, or simply unbothered? This uncertainty works in your favour. Be the man who keeps her guessing, the one who doesn't make everything predictable. When she's unsure, the mystery and intrigue that initially attracted her to you return. This is practical stoicism at its finest, maintaining control over your own actions while letting her wrestle with the unknown. It's a timeless principle that the paths of wisdom have always highlighted. Mystery breeds attraction. Now, let me clarify. Don't confuse a pause for ghosting. Ghosting is immature, childish, and passive-aggressive. It's a sign of insecurity, not strength. Ghosting is a game you should never play if you wish to retain your dignity and remain a high-value man. Instead, delay your response strategically. Take the time you need, several hours, even a full day, before replying, depending on the situation. This gives you a chance to focus on what truly matters: your life, your hobbies, and your goals. Be the man who has his own priorities and doesn't allow his life to be dictated by someone else's timetable. Strategic responses. Show calm and control. Delaying your response also allows you to craft a message that keeps you in control. A quick, impulsive reply can often be emotional or reactive, leading to an outcome you might regret. Instead, use this moment to reflect, to remain calm and composed, and to choose your words carefully. A calculated reply reinforces your independence and keeps the conversation on your terms. For example, if she texts, "Hey, I've been thinking about you," don't fall into the trap of mirroring her emotions. A reply like, "I've been thinking about you too," might sound needy or overeager. Instead, answer with something neutral but intriguing, like, "Interesting. What's on your mind?" This subtle shift puts the conversation back in her court while still maintaining your position of strength. You show her that you're not overly invested, which paradoxically makes you even more interesting. Your time is your leverage. Finally, remember that your time is one of your most precious assets. Don't squander it by rushing into a conversation just because someone expects you to. When you delay your response, you teach her to respect your time. You demonstrate that you're a man with priorities, and she has to earn a place in your life. You are not easily available. This is how you maintain the upper hand in the interaction and command respect. This is a lesson from the paths of wisdom that the Stoics have always understood. Time is your leverage, and when you use it wisely, you elevate your value in her eyes. The next time she reaches out, don't rush to respond. Be the man who understands the power of restraint. By waiting, you not only communicate that you are in control, but you also remind her of your worth. Let this principle of practical stoicism guide you in your interactions. You must stand firm, demonstrate your self-control, and remember that your time is yours to command. Through this, you'll not only attract her, but also command her respect. That is how you embody timeless wisdom in today's world. 3. Respond on your terms. When she reaches out, don't let your emotions drive you. Take a moment, reflect, and respond with the clear focus of a man who values his time. The key here is to respond on your terms, not hers. You must understand that every response is a reflection of your value. You don't chase validation, you command respect. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And this principle should guide every interaction. You don't need to rush into a reply or unload your emotions. If she reaches out with a casual, "Hey," your response must mirror that same indifference. A simple, "What's up?" or "All good," maintains neutrality while signaling that you have a life that doesn't revolve around her. You can't afford to be overly eager. The more you invest emotionally, the more you lose your sense of control. Remember, the power lies in maintaining a frame that respects yourself and your time. Your tone needs to stay calm and detached, like a man who knows his worth and isn't swayed by momentary emotions. You must avoid excessive flirtation, over-explaining, or sounding apologetic. Keep it short, direct, and confident. Never show that you're grateful for her reaching out. Your worth isn't contingent on her attention. Respond in a way that subtly shifts the focus back to her without placing her on a pedestal. For example, if she says, "I've been missing you," a response like, "That's unexpected. What brought that on?" redirects the conversation, putting the onus on her to explain. It's a masterful way to maintain control and power in the dynamic. Boundaries are crucial. Responding on your terms means clearly establishing what you'll tolerate and what you won't. If her message hints at manipulation or emotional games, don't be afraid to call it out. If she accuses you of ignoring her, for example, don't apologize or explain. Simply reply with, "I've been focused on what matters to me. What's on your mind?" This keeps you in control, reinforcing that you have priorities and won't be manipulated into emotional responses. Control the pace of the conversation. This is critical. Don't let her dictate the rhythm. If she sends multiple messages and expects an instant reply, take your time. Your patience shows that you value your time, and you're not beholden to her. A slow reply makes her feel the weight of your attention, and it keeps you in the driver's seat. But don't overinvest. Keep it balanced, engage just enough to show you're confident and present, but not desperate for her attention. Finally, know when to disengage. If the conversation becomes unproductive or feels like a test, it's better to end it gracefully than to let her push your boundaries. Simply say, "I'll catch up with you later," and leave. This sends a strong message that you have the strength to walk away when necessary, a key trait of any man who knows his worth. As Epictetus would say, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Responding with intention and maintaining control isn't just about winning in the moment, it's about mastering life itself, cultivating the inner strength to remain focused on what truly matters to you. You win when you respect your time and frame. You win when you do not bend to another's will. That is Stoicism in practice. If you found this advice valuable, don't forget to like, comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit from mastering their emotional control and setting strong boundaries. Comment to remember. I respond on my terms, not hers. 4. Avoid falling for emotional hooks. When a woman reaches out after a period of silence, be wary. She may be testing you with emotional hooks designed to throw you off balance. These hooks could come in the form of subtle hints, guilt trips, or provocative statements meant to pull you back into her world. But remember this, an iron mind doesn't get manipulated by emotions. If you're not careful, you risk falling into her emotional frame, where she holds the reins and you end up reacting instead of leading. A man who follows Stoic principles knows better. He doesn't let emotions dictate his actions. He remains composed, sharp, and strategic, evaluating the situation logically, not emotionally. These emotional hooks can take many shapes. She might invoke nostalgia with, "Remember when we used to talk all night?" Or trigger guilt by saying, "I feel like you've been avoiding me." In other instances, she may present herself as vulnerable, claiming, "I've been going through a lot lately, and I didn't know who else to talk to." These statements are crafted to weaken your emotional defenses, to make you lower your guard and fall into her desired reaction. But here's where you stand strong. Don't take the bait. Recognize these hooks for what they are, manipulative attempts to shift the power dynamic. If you respond emotionally, you give up control. And that's exactly what she wants. Stay grounded and redirect the conversation. For example, if she says, "I've been going through a lot," you could respond calmly, "I hope you're managing. What's your plan to handle it?" This shows concern without over-investing, keeping the focus on her actions and not your emotional involvement. If she mentions a new friend, don't show any weakness. Simply respond with, "Sounds like you've been keeping busy," which communicates that you're not fazed or scrambling for her attention. Confidence in your response shows that you're the one in control. Another hook to watch out for is flattery. If she says, "I've really missed talking to you," or "No one gets me like you do," resist the temptation to bask in the praise. Flattery can be a manipulation tactic designed to lower your guard and provoke an emotional reaction. A Stoic man appreciates a compliment, but he doesn't let it cloud his judgment. A simple, "glad to hear that," keeps things grounded, showing that you remain in charge of the interaction. Above all, always maintain your boundaries. If she attempts to guilt trip or manipulate, reassert your position firmly. For example, if she says, "You don't care about me anymore," respond with, "I care about myself enough to avoid unnecessary drama." This makes it clear that you're not here for emotional games or to be manipulated. The key to avoiding emotional hooks is staying grounded in Stoic principles. Control your emotions, and you control the interaction. This positions you as the leader, the one she respects and admires, with the iron mind to lead without being swayed by emotional turmoil. 5. Test her intentions before fully re-engaging. When a woman reaches out, you should never assume her intentions are genuine until you've tested them. People, especially in the context of relationships, often act out of self-interest. Her message might seem like she wants to reconnect, but it could also be a way to stroke her ego, alleviate boredom, or gauge if she still has control over you. Instead of diving back into the interaction head first, make her intentions clear through subtle but effective tests. The first test is to gauge her effort. A woman who truly values reconnecting with you will put in some work. That "hey" she sends could mean many things. She might be trying to boost her ego, check if she still holds some control over you, or simply fill an emotional void. Don't be fooled. You must test the waters before diving back in. The Stoic rules of life remind us that we must remain vigilant and not be swept away by the whims of others. Instead, make her intentions clear through subtle yet effective tests. Think of it as a trial period for her behaviour, a smart way of verifying whether her intentions align with what you want and deserve. The first test? Gauge her effort. If she truly wants to reconnect, she'll meet you halfway. That is the baseline. A woman who genuinely values your time and the possibility of reigniting a relationship will put in some effort. If her message is as vague as, "Hey, don't overexert yourself trying to fuel a conversation," keep your response short and neutral, something like, "Hey, what's up?" Let her decide if she's truly interested or if she's just reaching out for a fleeting moment of attention. If she responds with a meaningful follow-up, then the door is opened for more engagement. But if she doesn't put in the effort to keep the conversation alive, that is your answer. Her message wasn't an invitation to reconnect. It was a casual check-in, likely driven by ego or boredom. In the world of practical Stoicism, this is called detachment. You must detach from false hopes and distractions. Another way to test her intentions is by asking light, yet probing questions. This isn't an interrogation. It's an opportunity for clarity. You could ask something like, "What made you think of me?" Or, "What are you hoping to catch up on?" These questions aren't too personal, but they require enough self-reflection that any response will reveal something about her intentions. Watch closely how she responds. If she dodges these questions or gives you a vague, shallow answer, it's a red flag. A genuine response, on the other hand, would show a level of self-awareness or remorse, maybe even an apology or a clear intention to rebuild the connection. This is where the paths of wisdom come in. A wise man knows that not every message requires a response, not every gesture is worth reciprocating, and not every woman is worthy of his time and energy. By testing her intentions, you're saving yourself from wasting time on someone who isn't truly interested in building something meaningful. Instead, you're taking a stoic approach, holding your ground, maintaining your dignity, and choosing only those connections that are genuinely worth your effort. Another way to test her intentions is to ask light but probing questions. For instance, you can say, "What made you think of me?" Or, "What are you hoping to catch up on?" These aren't overly aggressive questions, but they force her to reveal more about why she's reaching out. Pay attention to her response. If she dodges the question or gives a superficial answer, it's a red flag. A genuine response might include an apology, an acknowledgement of her behaviour, or a clear desire to rebuild the connection. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us, or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. 6. Don't abandon your frame. In life, you must never abandon your frame. Your frame is your core, your values, your standards, your boundaries. It is the foundation of your identity as a man, and it is non-negotiable. When you compromise your frame, you lose control of not only the interaction, but also your own self-respect. They soften their boundaries, become overly accommodating, or allow her to dictate the pace and tone of the interaction. This behaviour stems from a scarcity mindset, the fear that if you don't bend to her will, she'll disappear again. But the truth is, the more you hold your ground, the more she will respect you and see you as a high-value man. The Stoic wisdom of Epictetus reminds us that we can control only our actions, not others. By maintaining your frame, you demonstrate confidence and high value. Respect is earned when you hold your ground. The more you stick to your standards, the more she will respect you and see you as a man who cannot be easily swayed. Don't forget, if her past behaviour disrespected your time, your effort, or your boundaries, do not overlook it just because she is now showing interest. You must address it, but do so subtly and firmly. A simple, powerful statement like, "I don't entertain inconsistent behaviour. What's changed?" immediately sets a boundary without being confrontational. Let her know that you are not willing to accept disrespect, no matter how much she may want to reconnect. This is how you remain in control. When she reaches out, don't jump to respond immediately, especially if her messages are vague or non-committal. This is not a situation where you must rush to engage. Instead, stand firm in your frame, let her know that your time is valuable. A simple response like, "Let's talk another time," or even no response at all, reinforces that you are not someone to be taken lightly. You must hold your standards high, and the moment you allow her to dictate the pace, you lose your power. Some men make the mistake of overcompensating when a woman returns. They shower her with compliments, attention, and validation, desperate to win her over. But this only gives her control of the situation. She will see that she can manipulate you with minimal effort. This is where Epictetus's Stoic principles become paramount. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Your value is already clear. You don't need to prove it to anyone. Let her work for your attention. Let her prove her worth, because your worth is self-evident. It's also crucial to maintain control of your demeanor. The way you speak, how you carry yourself, and your actions will show whether you are in control. Avoid excessive explanations or emotional outbursts. Do not allow her to see you sweat. Confidence is silent. You must remain calm and composed, no matter how her behavior might frustrate or confuse you. Emotional instability signals insecurity, and insecurity undermines your frame. Finally, be prepared to walk away if her behavior is inconsistent, her intentions are unclear, or she refuses to respect your boundaries. Walking away isn't a loss. It is a testament to your strength and self-respect. A man who values himself will never sacrifice his frame for fleeting attention. Remember the words of Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Never compromise your frame. Stay resolute, stay strong, and let nothing shake your foundation. 7. Decide whether she fits into your life. When a woman reappears after a period of silence, the first step is to determine whether she truly deserves a place in your life. Too many men waste precious time trying to revive connections with women who don't fit their values, goals, or lifestyle. This isn't about grudges or revenge, it's about assessing whether her presence will add value or disrupt your progress. Ask yourself why you're even considering re-engaging. Is it driven by emotional attachment, fear of loneliness, or genuine interest? Be brutally honest. If you're responding simply because you miss her or crave closure, that's emotional weakness, not logic. A man of high value operates from a place of abundance, not scarcity. He doesn't hold on to someone just because they've resurfaced. Now, look back at her past actions. If she ghosted you, played games, or disrespected your boundaries, ask yourself whether anything has changed. What has she done to prove she's grown or learned from her mistakes? If she hasn't taken responsibility for her actions or made an effort to right her wrongs, it's a glaring red flag. Don't be fooled into thinking time alone will magically heal things. Without real change, history is bound to repeat itself. Next, assess her present energy and effort. A woman who genuinely wants to be part of your life will show it through consistent actions. She'll reach out with purpose, express genuine interest in your life, and prove she's ready to meet your standards. If her actions are vague, inconsistent, or non-committal, that's your sign to keep her at arm's length. Remember, actions always speak louder than words. Consider whether she fits into your lifestyle and long-term goals. Does she share your values and ambitions, or does she expect you to compromise them for her benefit? For instance, if you're focused on advancing your career or personal growth, will she respect that commitment, or will she create drama and demand your attention? A woman worth keeping in your life complements your journey, not competes with it. Her intentions matter deeply. If she's reaching out because she's lonely, bored, or seeking validation, she's likely to disappear once her temporary needs are fulfilled. Don't allow yourself to be her emotional crutch or convenience. True re-engagement comes from mutual respect and a genuine desire to build something meaningful, not from fleeting emotions or selfish motives. Ultimately, deciding whether she belongs in your life boils down to one crucial element: self-respect. You're not a backup plan or emotional safety net. If she's serious about reconnecting, she'll demonstrate it by aligning her actions with your values. If not, walk away confidently, knowing your time and energy are better invested elsewhere. Your life should move forward, not backward. If she can't align with your path, there's no shame in leaving her behind. A man who embodies old Stoic wisdom understands that self-preservation and alignment with his purpose come first. Don't settle for inconsistency or manipulation. Instead, choose relationships that align with your aspirations. Your time is invaluable, and if she proves worthy, engage on your terms. Otherwise, walk away, knowing you're better off without her. When a woman reaches out, approach the situation with clarity and control. Test her intentions, hold your frame, and make sure any re-engagement serves your needs, not hers. Never let emotions cloud your judgment. Always prioritize your self-respect and long-term goals. A man with an iron mind who follows Stoic principles doesn't tolerate inconsistency or manipulation. He chooses relationships that elevate his life. If you're serious about protecting your time, energy, and purpose, this video is for you. Watch, reflect, and take control of who you let back into your life. Comment below. I prioritize my goals, not fleeting emotions. Stay strong, stay focused. Like, comment, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful insights. 8. Recognize when it's a test of your strength. So here she is again, reaching out after weeks, months, maybe even years. You could be feeling a mix of curiosity, maybe even excitement. But before you dive headfirst into any emotional reaction, take a moment to think. Is this a test of my strength? Often, when a woman reaches out, it's not just about rekindling old flames. It could very well be about testing you, your resolve and your emotional stability. And this is where Stoic rules and practical Stoicism come into play. Understand this. Women don't always reach out for the reasons we think. It's not always about wanting to reconnect or rekindle that once-burning romance. No, often it's about evaluating something much deeper. Your strength, your stability, and your ability to maintain control. You must realize that when a woman contacts you, it may be less about her feelings and more about her testing your emotional fortitude. So, how do you respond? That's what truly matters. Don't fall into the trap of desperation. It's natural to want to respond quickly, especially if you have unresolved feelings. But that's precisely the reaction she's looking for. If you respond with urgency, with desperation, you'll show a lack of self-control, a lack of emotional maturity. And let's face it, no one finds desperation attractive, not even you. You must stand firm. This is a test of your strength. And if you let your emotions drive your actions, you risk losing the respect you've worked so hard to establish. This is where the wisdom of Stoic rules and practical Stoicism truly shines. The Stoics taught us to be calm under pressure, to evaluate situations with clarity, and to respond with reason instead of emotion. If she's reaching out, take a step back. Don't be quick to jump into any emotional response. Assess her intentions carefully. Is she genuinely interested in reconnecting, or is she simply checking if you still care? You must take the time to evaluate what's happening before you make any decisions. Be the strong man who doesn't bend to fleeting emotions. It's tempting, I know, to feel validated, to receive that attention again. But remember, Stoic wisdom tells us that our self-respect must always come first. A man of strength doesn't need external validation to feel secure. He has already built that strength within himself. He's not looking for reassurance, he's already reassured. If she's testing you, it's your chance to affirm your boundaries, your self-worth, and your emotional resilience. Let's be clear here. You are not obligated to meet her expectations or provide validation just because she reached out. The fact that she has contacted you doesn't mean you owe her anything. It's okay to take a step back. It's okay to recognize that her reaching out doesn't mean she wants to reconnect in a genuine way. She might just be looking for a reaction, and if you fall for it, you risk putting your emotional stability in jeopardy. You must remember that true strength is not in reacting, but in responding wisely. The paths of wisdom show us that we must always guard our emotional peace. If she reaches out, understand that this could be a test, not just of your strength, but of your ability to remain grounded in your own principles. The Stoics would tell you, don't let anyone disturb your peace. Stay calm, reflect, and respond with the clarity of mind that comes from living a life rooted in self-respect and control. You're not a puppet on a string, swaying with every pull. No, you're the one who decides how you move. If you do decide to respond, do it on your terms. You don't need to engage in a full-blown emotional exchange. Keep it neutral, keep it clear, and keep it short. A man of strength doesn't entertain emotional games. A strong man stays calm and uses these moments not to seek validation from others, but to affirm his own self-worth. This is your moment to assert your strength, to reaffirm the principles that have guided you, and to recognize the difference between a genuine connection and a test of your emotional resilience. In the end, this isn't just about her. It's about you. Are you the kind of man who can keep his cool when the emotional winds start blowing? Are you the man who stands firm in his strength, who knows what he wants, and who doesn't let the whims of others sway him from his path? If you can remain calm, grounded, and true to your own principles, then you've passed the test. So the next time she reaches out, ask yourself, what is this really about? Is it a genuine attempt to reconnect? Or is it a test of your strength? Trust in your own wisdom. Follow the paths of wisdom. And remember that emotional strength, emotional stability, and self-respect are always the most attractive qualities you can possess. 9. Set clear expectations from the start. When faced with a situation where she reaches out, ask yourself, what do you want? Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, emphasized that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Your desires must be clear, and your boundaries must be firm. Do not bend or waver just because someone shows interest after a period of absence. If her past actions disrespected your values, this is your moment to set the terms. To allow someone back into your life, you must establish unambiguous expectations from the start. You are the master of your own path. Don't let anyone derail your journey. There is no room for ambiguity here. Be direct, be decisive, communicate your boundaries clearly, and demand respect. If she doesn't like the terms, if she hesitates to meet your standards, then you must act. Walk away. This isn't a game. This is your life. You have no time to waste. Set expectations and demand they be met, or simply turn the page and move forward. The Stoic path requires strength, discipline, and clarity. A man is not good because of what he does, but because of who he is, said Epictetus. You must know who you are and be resolute in your decisions. If you let her back in under the wrong terms, you are compromising your values. That is never the Stoic way. Win by mastering yourself, Epictetus said. And this means mastering your desires, your boundaries, and your life. Don't let anyone dictate the terms of your happiness. When she reaches out, don't allow the past to cloud your judgment. Your standards are your standards. She must meet them or fade into the past. The victory is in the clarity of your decision. No second guessing, no hesitation. It is a win to live life on your terms. If you're faced with someone who disrespected your values in the past, it's time to take control of your path. Remember, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. So if she reaches out, set your expectations firmly from the start. Be direct, be decisive, and demand respect. If you agree with this, drop a comment right now. I am the master of my own path. Like this video, subscribe for more unshakable wisdom, and remind yourself daily, silence isn't distance, it's discipline. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you sticking around till the end. When it comes to whether you should keep ignoring someone who reaches out, especially if there's some emotional weight or drama involved, remember the wisdom of the Stoics. They tell you to focus on what you can control. Your response, your emotions, your peace of mind. Don't let someone else's actions pull you away from your center. If she reaches out, ask yourself, does engaging with her serve your peace, your growth? Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is choose not to engage, to preserve your emotional space. Don't let the past control your present. Take care of yourself first, and everything else will fall into place. Catch you in the next one.